Alright, so a lot of you guys have requested this video. Just give you an update on kind of life stuff that's going on that has been affecting YouTube content as well as just everything in general. Just getting you guys up to date from like a couple months ago when I went to New York till now, and my work truck and all that stuff. So before we talk about this truck that's sitting right behind me, I'm gonna talk about my trip to New York quick. Some of the cars that I bought, my living situation that has been very frustrating, and then we'll talk about the truck kind of hand in hand. But I'm not going to go into too much detail and just generalize things, because otherwise I'll be sitting here for an hour explaining details or more. So just going to give you a general idea of everything that's going on so you can kind of get up to speed with it and go from there. But first I want to start off with my trip to New York. I got an all expense paid to Ohio for the company launch party for Renewal. So this is a company that I've been promoting on my Instagram and my YouTube, just because they are a Christian company that is competing with Liquid Death, and they are a super cool company, Christian company obviously, so I'm going to fully endorse them. And I'm not sponsored or anything, but I just like to promote companies like that and brands. As you can tell, I'm obviously Christian by my posts and everything like that. But yeah, so that was a super cool experience. I'll put some pictures on here in Instagram of my trip there. Aaron is the owner of the business, and he is a super cool, humble person, and it was a really big pleasure to meet him and his, everyone involved with the company. But yeah, I'll be continuing to promote them on my channel and on my Instagram and all that. But on my way there, I was able to stop and meet with one of my subscribers. Actually, someone that's been following me on Instagram before I even made a YouTube channel ever, or even considered doing it. So we've been friends on Instagram for a long time, and I was able to meet him. His name is Michael. I'll link his Instagram below. Super cool guy. It was awesome to see his car. He's got an RT 4-wheel drive wagon. Very clean, just a simple built car, and it's just so cool to see. I was able to sit there and talk with him. He got to meet my dog Leah, and yeah, took some pictures and cinematics of his cars. And if you haven't seen it on my Instagram, but yeah, that was a really cool experience. I love meeting you guys outside of this closed four walls, because I don't go out really. I don't talk to anyone. I don't have friends out here, and I live in a remote area, so I don't even go to car meets, because car meets out here are just like regular traffic with AutoZone upgrades on them. It's just no. I've driven by meets and I'm just like, no thanks, sorry. And people revving up their cars, and it's just immature. So I don't go to car meets or get out ever. So if you guys are local and you want to meet up, just send me a DM on Instagram. I like to meet you guys whenever I can. Apart from that, my trip to New York, after I got to New York, I really just chilled with my family. I was just relaxing, whatever. I was gonna make a video with my brother, but I ended up just helping him try to get his truck going, because he had the motor pulled out. I think it dropped a valve, so the motor dropped a valve, and I just really needed to relax. I had a lot going on with work and all the other stuff in my life, so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna relax, and we did. Anyways, when I actually, as soon as I got there, not even 2 hours after I got there, I have a neighbor that moved in next door, and I got a phone call saying, hey, we need all of your cars moved that are on the side of your shop, because this is an alleyway, not your property. And I rent this property, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense, because everyone, my neighbor back here has a fence going across the alley. My other neighbor, or whatever, the guy on the other side of the block, has his shop built into the alley, or the quote-unquote alley. So I've been dealing with back and forth, just stuff with that guy, going to the county, trying to figure out the actual property lines and this and that. I'll show you in a minute outside what I'm talking about a little bit. But yeah, this guy has been just pushing everything he can since he moved in. He's just causing a disturbance in the town, and for absolutely no reason. But anyways, I've been dealing with that. This is just a basic coverage of that whole situation. Dealing with my landlord situation, it's just, I'm not going to go too much detail on that, but it's very frustrating, because it's hard to get anything done around here. And then I was told that I can not use my wood stove, and it gets about minus 40, minus 60 degrees here in the winter. And all of a sudden, after 3 years, they discovered that it's not covered under their insurance. So, yeah, I need to figure out a way to heat this place so I can continue making money over the winter. That's the whole reason I moved into this place and started renting this place, because I was able to make money around the year round with the stuff that I do in the shop. So yeah, it's been kind of a battle going back and forth with my landlord and them going to battle with their insurance company about how to heat this place. I really can't afford gas in this place because gas is so expensive. And I was getting wood for dirt cheap or free from doing like favors from a neighbor and stuff. He'd give me free firewood from scrap pile stuff. But yeah, still working on that. This has been a very frustrating situation, and just trying to get everything lined up so I can literally live, because I need money, and this is one of my big incomes is doing the car stuff, as well as, you know, sponsorships. I get a couple bucks here and there. YouTube, I get maybe, depending on how much content I can put out, which has been terrible lately, which I apologize, but I get like sometimes $100 a month from them, which is nothing, but when you're poor as I am, it helps out a little bit, so it helps me make content as well. But anyways, aside from that, I picked up 5 vehicles since since I last mentioned them. Just getting ready for winter, stocking up on a few cars, because it's so hard to travel out here in the winter if we're getting snow, because the interstate is literally a sheet of ice because we don't salt out here. So benefits, you don't get rust, but it is difficult to travel, so I like to get cars stocked up for winter. And I also bought a Toyota 4Runner, so I'll go over that with you in a second as well. But yeah, that gets you kind of caught up to speed with some of the things just going on in my personal life. Just generally, there's so many more details, but I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, let's talk about the truck quick. So, as a lot of you know, I've been waiting for this truck for like a year and a half. Long story short, I had my white 88 SR5 Toyota pickup, 22RE, and that was like my work truck. You know, I was picking stuff up with it, parts, selling parts, blah, blah, blah. And I paid top dollar for that truck because it was in like such mint condition, and a guy lied to me about the motor. He said it was rebuilt like 30,000 miles ago, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, it blew up within like 1,500 miles of me owning it. The head gasket started leaking. When I brought it to the shop, I brought it to someone I know. I'm like, I don't have room for it in the shop and stuff. I just need it done as soon as possible because I needed my work truck back, because that's kind of how I transport parts, pick stuff up. And turns out that the guy got the bottom end rebuilt on that truck and then put a warped head back on with the new gasket, so it basically sealed long enough to sell it to me. And like when we pulled the head off, literally the pistons didn't even have carbon on them. Like, it was brand new. It did not have 30,000 miles on it. I just ate that destruction basically financially. So not only did I pay top dollar for a truck for being like mint, I had to get the motor, I had to get the head machined, I had to get like so much stuff done to it. But anyways, that was a huge loss. But meanwhile, like in the midst of that, 2 weeks, I think it was like 2 weeks or a week before that, I actually bought this truck. I was gonna flip it. I was like, okay, so I have 2 trucks. This has had a blown motor in it. It was originally a 22RE turbo motor, factory turbo motor. It had a blown head gasket. Like I said, I bought this truck to either just get running where I can move it around and sell it as a moving vehicle with a blown head gasket, or part it out, or I didn't know what I was going to do with it. It was just going to be an investment like I do with the part out cars. So I had 2 blown up Toyotas, and I was like, okay, which one do I keep? So this truck has been sitting a while. Either one is going to have work put into it. So I'm like, you know what? This truck is bigger. I'm going to keep this one. It'll suit me better, especially with my dog. She goes everywhere with me, and I'll keep this. And that was after I talked to a guy that I've done Toyota business with. He builds trucks and stuff and has a couple other businesses that he does. But I'm like, how soon and how much will it cost to get this thing running with a motor swap? Because I didn't want the turbo motor. We'll go into detail on that in the next video when I go over the truck completely. Yeah, so it was going to take 2 months and about the same amount of money it was going to cost me to buy a Toyota Tacoma. So I'm like, okay, I get back seats, manual, and just something cooler for the same price as a Tacoma. It'll be turned around in 2 months, because the truck was actually, where I bought it was way out where the guy's shop was. So I'm like, it'll work out 2 months. I'll get my other truck the white 88 that I had, rebuilt, sell that for money toward this, and we'll be good to go in 2 months. Yeah, well, here I am, 18 months, 16 months later, and I just now picked it up. It's still not done, but there's just a lot of frustrating details with it. Being that this truck was turbo, it had a diesel transmission in it. The guy, he thought he knew what it would all take to get this thing swapped and going, but because of the transmission and independent front suspension, a couple of weird things, it turned into trying to figure things out on my truck rather than like knowing what it was. So it was trial and error for several months instead of just getting the truck swapped, because otherwise I would have never even considered doing this, because I was out my work truck for so long that it just like financially just crushed me, and it ended up costing almost twice the amount of money as the original estimate. So it's just obviously not ideal situation at all. And it was just kind of like, oh, it's gonna be 2 more weeks, and then something else would come up, and they're like, oh, it'll be done by the end of the week, and then figure something else out that was different or wrong or whatever. So many details. I'm just not gonna get into it, but yeah. So I'm basically stuck with the truck now because there's no point in trying to sell it, because I'm not going to get anywhere near what I have invested into it. So there's only a few more things left that need to be done on it before it's roadworthy, hopefully. I'd never, if I knew it was going to be this much of a hassle, I never would have even thought about doing it. It was just the fact that it was like a 2-month deadline and it was going to cost me as much as a Tacoma, and I was like, perfect, get it done. But anyways, I sold my white truck after it was completely fixed. And I had the guy, I'm like, replace everything that looks wrong, like fuel filters, hoses, anything from the block up or block down when everything's apart, everything. So that truck is like mint, and I actually sold it locally. A guy's still driving it. Like, I should have just kept that truck in the end, or, just never done this. But yeah, this has been one of my dream trucks since I was a kid. Like, since I even found out they existed. This is a super rare truck, probably one of the rarest Toyotas ever made in the US, and I'll tell you why it's kind of better than a Hilux, and a lot of people will give me crap for that, but it's definitely, it's better than a Hilux in a couple aspects, and I'll share that with you in a minute. But yeah, that's kind of just a general statement. But I have the truck now, hopefully going to be able to flip things around financially, because this is just completely ruined my life, basically. Not to sound dramatic, but it really did. So yeah, we can only go up from here since I have the truck back now, and whatever. But yeah, we'll do the 4Runner actually kind of messed me up too. I got scammed on that 4Runner, but it is running and driving now with the help of the guy that actually was building this truck. So he's been helping me out here in my shop, finish this and grind it out, and he's also been helping me grind out the 4Runner, basically just paying him for parts for that. He's been doing it for free, so he feels bad how long it took, and it was just like a trial and error thing, and I don't know. I wish it didn't end this way, but it is what it is, and we're gonna make life go on. So yeah, without further ado, I was just gonna go around the truck and show you a little bit about it. And we're not going to go over the whole build until the next video, because we're going to start upgrading this thing. So I'm going to briefly go over all the other cars that I bought quick, because they're just like part out cars and stuff. And then we'll come back to this truck. So this is just a rotted out Integra that I saved from the crusher. It was literally just going to get crushed, not even to a salvage yard. So I bought it for a couple $100 and been stripping the valuable parts off of it and selling them, because it's what I do to make money, and also to save other Hondas on the road or upgrade other Hondas, like rear disc swap. I already got someone that's going to buy that and all that fun stuff. But we'll go outside and go over the other cars that I have, and then the property situation just really briefly. So just briefly, this is the EF hatch I picked up. Excuse you. Yeah, literally traded a transmission for it. I haven't even gone through the interior or any of the parts that came with it yet. I just literally put it here, and I had to go do a bunch of other stuff. I got this automatic RS Integra that's also rotted and just it's blown up and stuff like that. But another part out car I bought. I'll go over this once I get it in the shop one of these days. And then this is my 4Runner I bought. Yeah, manual 3.4 Toyota 4Runner. It's Got 200 and about 60,000, 259,000 miles on it. It is still putting along. I'll go over more details on this thing in another video when I actually like have it in a video. But yeah, this is just one of the other cars I bought, and I also bought a tow dolly. So this has been sweet. I already picked up a car. I actually picked up that car with the tow dolly and the 4Runner. So I've got a good setup right now for towing and picking up cars, so I don't have to pay someone to do it for me. But while we're over here, this is the property line issue I've been dealing with. He's trying to claim that this here is an alleyway, which it's not. It's a power line easement, and I'm allowed to park and put my stuff here. Don't mind the roofing that's going on. My house is finally getting a new roof in my shop after it's been leaking for 18 months. But yeah, that whole property line thing over there has been a huge ongoing battle. Just that's where I park my stuff and like have storage and whatnot. And if I had to move all that, including he's trying to claim like where the Civic and the Integras and that 4Runner parked is that alleyway as well. I can't store anything out here basically because it's halfway, quote unquote, in the alley. So he's just trying to claim that that is an alley, and it's not. The area that I live in was a town back in like the was a town until like the early 1900s, and then it got disbanded as a town, so it's no longer a town. It doesn't have any of the regulations. The alleyways are not alleyways anymore. Like there's straight up like complete shops built across the alleyway. It's literally just a power line easement, and it's part of the property that I live on. And he's just been going back and forth, telling me to move my stuff, all this stuff, and it's frustrating that you can't get along with your neighbors. And he literally just like moved here and or bought the place next door, and then just started causing issues like immediately. So it's just like whatever. Until I can get paperwork proving that actually there is no paperwork proving that it's an alley, because I already went to the county and talked about it. So yeah, so that's just been a frustrating battle on top of everything else going on. But anyways, we'll go over the truck real quick. So this is my 1986 Toyota Custom Cab. Just take a look at that. Yep. So just a brief overview of the truck. This is the only way you could get back seats in these trucks in the US. And it was basically you'd buy a truck and it was a factory option to get the custom cab edition put onto it. There's a slick top, and then there's like the bump top that I got. And what they would do, they would chop the truck in half. They would send the truck to California. There's a limousine company there that Toyota bought, and then they'd chop the truck in half, put this edition on it, weld it up, and then yeah, you got back seats. So the reason I was saying this is cooler than a Hilux is because, one, you get the back seats, and two, you get a full-size box still. You don't get that like tiny box that the Hilux has that's chopped off right here. So you get an entire full-size box on this. It's not a long bed, it's just a standard bed. It's not short bed Hilux, but you still get a standard bed. You could get a long bed custom cab with a two-wheel drive though. And the interior is still kind of a mess. I haven't cleaned it up or anything yet, and was messing with electrical wiring there, trying to get some of the gauges to work and the lights to work and stuff like that. But yeah, this is the interior. This is the SR5 turbo model, so it's got the SR5 seats, which are nice. It's a rear bench seat back here. It is just so sick. Since I discovered these trucks, I just was obsessed with them when I was growing up. But it's got a nice, like, cool headliner and stuff because it's all like limousine quality stuff. So yeah. I also just haven't like done anything like with the interior or exterior yet because I've been waiting to do it to make YouTube content with, because I have so many parts for this thing, and yeah, it's just I've been waiting to do anything. Well, one, I wanted to make sure it was even worth keeping, or that I was going to keep it and not part it out, and I wanted it to be like running and driving, roadworthy, before I started making content with it, because that's how I was supposed to get it back. But yeah, we're just going to start doing this in the next video. We'll start putting upgrades in it. I have so many new parts and used parts for it. I'm going to wrap up the video though, because I'm trying to keep this as short as possible. There's so much talking in this video, but I just wanted to get the people who wanted me to explain everything that's going on a video, just going over the general stuff that has been going on around here and with the truck situation. But yeah, we will be working on it in the next video, and I will go over in detail more about this truck, and it'll be specifically about this truck, and you'll find out what motor is actually under the hood now. If you guys don't have me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, Conjo_brothers, and I appreciate you guys watching, sticking around, and just being patient with me. And for all you guys that have been concerned, messaging me, and just, all that, I appreciate the support you guys always give me, and keeps me going with this stuff and making me feel like continuing to do it. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.